Welcome to the deep dive. We're digging into emotional intelligence, EQ, today. And, well, you brought some pretty compelling reasons why we should.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at the Harvard Business School research, it suggests EQ is responsible for, 58% of performance across all jobs.
58%. That's huge. More than IQ, more than technical schools put together.
Exactly. So the big question for everyone listening is, okay, great, but how do I actually develop my EQ?
Right. And that's our mission for this deep dive. We've sifted through the materials you sent over to pull out actionable, neuroscience-backed ways to do just that.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so maybe start with the brain itself. How does this emotion stuff actually work?
Oh, the fascinating thing is the speed difference. Your emotional brain, the amygdala, it reacts something like 5 times faster than your rational brain, the prefrontal cortex.
5 times faster. Wow.
Yeah. Think about, snapping when you're stressed or an old trigger getting you. That's the amygdala jumping in way before logic catches up. It's an old survival mechanism.
Okay, so it's fast, useful back then, maybe less useful when dealing with an annoying email now.
Sometimes, yeah. But the key thing, and the sources really emphasize this, is that these pathways aren't fixed. You can actually rewire them. It just takes practice.
That's hopeful. So where does someone start with that rewiring? What are the practical steps?
The material lays out 5 sort of core pillars. First up is emotional literacy.
Emotional literacy, meaning,
Basically, knowing what you're actually feeling. It sounds simple, but many people only identify like maybe 5 or 6 basic emotions: happy, sad, angry.
right, just the big ones.
Yeah, but there's so much more nuance. The sources mention using tools like Plutchik's Wheel of Emotions to get more specific,
Yeah.
or even just body scanning, paying attention to where you feel an emotion physically.
There was that UCLA research mentioned, wasn't there, about naming emotions.
Exactly. Just putting a label on it saying, okay, I'm feeling apprehensive instead of just bad can apparently reduce the intensity by up to 40%. It calms the amygdala down.
40% just from naming it. Okay, so expanding that vocabulary is key. What's pillar 2?
The pause principle, creating space.
Ah, the classic count to 10.
Sort of, but maybe a bit more targeted. It's about noticing the first physical signs of an emotional reaction, your jaw clenching maybe, or your breath getting shallow,
Mm-hmm.
and then you deliberately pause. The material suggests the 6-second rule, because that's roughly how long it takes for the initial flood of stress chemicals to peak and start receding.
6 seconds. Doesn't sound long, but probably feels it in the moment.
It can. And in that pause, you ask yourself, okay, what would my best self do right now? It brings the rational brain back online. Apparently, even Navy SEALs use this kind of pause under extreme pressure.
So find the trigger, pause, then choose the response. Makes sense. What's next?
Pillar 3, empathy engineering, actively working on understanding others.
Engineering sounds technical.
Well, it's about training your mirror neurons, those brain cells that help us, resonate with what someone else is feeling.
Okay, how do you train them?
2 main ways mentioned. One is deliberate perspective taking. Ask yourself, if I genuinely believed what they believe, how would I feel? Really try to step into their shoes.
Uh-huh.
The other is reflective listening, saying things like, so what I'm hearing you say is it confirms understanding and shows you're truly listening.
And didn't one source mention a study about just being silent?
Yeah, Stanford, I think, found that simply pausing for about 3 minutes before responding in a difficult conversation could improve relationship quality by something like 68%.
Wow, just listen more. Okay, pillar 4.
Emotional alchemy. This one's interesting. It's about transforming or maybe reframing difficult emotions into something useful.
Alchemy, turning lead into gold, turning anger into.
Exactly. So anger might signal a boundary needs protecting, right? It gives you energy for that. Anxiety could be channeled into focused preparation. Even envy could become fuel for inspiration, seeing what's possible.
So not ignoring the emotion, but understanding its message and redirecting its energy.
Precisely. And there was Yale research linking this ability to leadership success. Leaders who can reframe are apparently more effective.
Makes sense. Okay, last pillar.
The feedback loop, basically continuous improvement.
How does that work for EQ?
2 things mainly. Journaling after emotionally significant events. What was the trigger? How did I react? What could I have done better? Just reflecting on it.
Learning from experience.
And the second part is actively seeking feedback. Asking trusted friends or colleagues, maybe once a month, how am I coming across emotionally? Any blind spots you notice?
That takes some courage, but I can see how it would accelerate growth. Okay, so those are the 5 pillars. Anything else stand out, like quick tips or hacks?
Yeah, the sources mentioned a few things high EQ leaders often do, like mood labeling, just internally noting, okay, I'm experiencing frustration right now. It creates distance.
Like naming it, but maybe quicker.
Also, preemptive regulation, managing your energy before a stressful meeting, not just reacting during it, and being aware of emotional contagion.
How emotions spread in a group.
Yeah, knowing that your mood impacts others and consciously trying to shift the dynamic if needed, it really treats emotions as tools.
Tools to be used effectively, not just things that happen to you. Okay, so for someone listening who wants to get started, what's a good first step?
Well, the sources suggest trying a 30-day EQ challenge. Pick one pillar each week to focus on. Week 1, maybe work on emotional literacy. Week 2, practice the pause, and so on.
A structured approach.
And maybe keep a simple log, track your triggers and responses.